Well, it's another beautiful day up here, and I've got a little story to share. I'm just going to warn you that halfway through, there will be some images of an injured animal. I just want to give people a heads up because sometimes that can be a little unsettling. Just about a year ago, we got goats for the first time. And soon thereafter, we brought home Ayi, an Akbash mix. I've never had a dog like this before, so based on everything that I'd read, I was going to put her out with the goats and just leave her there to bond and be a stern overlord who fed her and gave her commands. Well, that lasted about a day. When we got her home, she was sick and underweight, and it was hot, and we had to bring her into the house for a few hours at a time to give her a break from the heat. We hand-fed her chicken and rice because she was losing even more weight, and at night she was in a cage in the goat barn. It was a combination of working with what we knew and what we had available, and we figured it out and we made it work. She's grown into a fantastic guard dog for our livestock, and a great friend to the other dogs. She's sweet and affectionate and funny, until she needs to be big and brave and fierce.
It's okay. Good girl. Good girl.
As our farm has grown, it's become obvious that we need another dog. She can't be everywhere at once, and at night, she needs some backup. The predator pressure up here is very high. Right where I'm standing, I found a large pile of bear scat just yesterday. And at the top of that hill, right beyond those pines, is one of the pens with our new goats. So because the predator pressure is high, and we know that Ayi can't do everything by herself, we've been on the lookout for another Akbash. Ideally, we'd find a dog that needed to be rehomed or was being sold, that had already been trained or was at least 7 months old and had been raised with livestock. But that's an unusual thing to find, because usually when you have an animal like that that's being rehomed, it's got some personality issues or something else going on. And so what you're buying is somebody else's problem. And if you're buying an animal that's just been properly trained and is up for sale, it's going to be very expensive. It could be multiple thousands of dollars. So we've had our eye out for a puppy. And about a month ago, I saw a post on Facebook from a homesteading couple who got a new Akbash from a breeder in North Carolina. And they raved about how good an experience this breeder was. So I reached out to them, got the contact information, and found out that they had 2 males and a female still left from a recent litter. I asked a lot of questions, found out about the breeder's experience, how much time they'd been doing this, got some pictures, and settled in on one of the males. It was going to be a long drive, and we made arrangements to meet and pick up the dog. And everything was going well until the night before we were supposed to go down. Got a little weird. I got a message and some photos telling me that the dog had some wounds. There was some damage to the skin. They said that it was a result of flea medication and a reaction with the skin. I did a little research online and found out that sometimes that's possible, and I was a little put off. Wasn't really sure I wanted to make the investment of time and money to go down and take a look at a dog that I might decide I didn't want to bring back with me. I thought on it pretty heavy that night, and I was still asking some questions the next morning. They said they would keep the dog until it healed up, and then I could come down and get it then. But since I already had the day off, and it was an opportunity to have a road trip with my daughter, I decided to go down and take a look anyway. During the drive, we had an opportunity to brainstorm and start thinking about names that might be appropriate for this dog. We came up with a short list of 4 or 5 that might work. And we figured that we would just let the dog's personality tell us which one of those it was going to be. When we got there, they popped the hatch on their SUV, and you could tell immediately that it was worse than the pictures conveyed. Hey buddy. Not really sure, huh? Nah, don't move that finger. It looked like somebody had taken some high concentrate flea repellent or flea killer medication and put it directly on the dog.
I think the concentration was so high that it caused a chemical reaction that burned the skin, and it lost all the fur in several spots. It was all the way down through the skin, and some of it was a little bit raw. It was kind of hard to look at. Now, I've been accused of being a sucker and making bad decisions before, but within about 15 to 20 seconds of looking at this dog, I realized he was in bad shape, but I didn't think that he was broken. So Lauren checked him over for any broken bones or signs of internal injuries to make sure that something hadn't grabbed him and damaged him. And as soon as she gave me the nod, I reached in my pocket, grabbed some money, and I took that dog home. Well, this little dog does not have a name yet.
We hadn't considered it, but maybe we should have named him Houdini. Because as soon as we stopped to let him pee a few times, he immediately pulled out of the collar and ran under a car. The second time was most concerning because he was only about 3 feet from a storm sewer in a parking lot, and I was crawling around under somebody else's truck, which these days can land you in some trouble all by itself.
Now, I've had a pretty good track record of taking dogs that weren't in great environments, giving them a home, and having good dogs. And I don't think this is going to be much of a difference. With good food, some medicine, good shelter, and a lot of love, I think this dog's going to grow into something that'll work around here. Sit. It's all right. It's okay.
Aya was excited, but a little unsure of what to make of it.
You excited?
It's a little baby boyfriend. Little cougar.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, he looks so pitiful. Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, he's looking rough.
Yeah.
He'll clean up. He'll heal up.
You need somebody give it TLC. I don't think he's ever really been held before. So.
We lost him twice. It's okay.
We lost him twice. Yeah, he went under the car, and then he went under the car again.
Well, he went under somebody else's truck.
Yeah, he went.
You're a pretty girl.
He's bigger than Aya
I think so.
was. Yeah, he's definitely bigger.
One by one, we introduced the other dogs, and we supervised the opportunities to get to know each other. It went well, and there weren't a lot of issues of personality conflicts. Anytime you bring in a new animal with livestock guardian dogs or herding animals, those are strong personalities, and you have to be on the lookout in case there's some sort of jealousy or contention about the introduction of a new pack member. Surprisingly, it was Aya who was the most standoffish with him. We gave him a bath to clean off any remaining fleas and to better assess any damage to his skin and any spots that we hadn't seen already.
So he's due for another worming in 2 weeks, so he could also have parasites.
Well, we know how to pick them.
We do know.
This is why
there were bad hot spots on the ears where he had been fighting against the fleas that were infesting him when he was out on the farm. And Lauren was beginning to suspect that he was younger than they had said. Hip development didn't look like it was as far along as it should be for an 8-week-old puppy.
Wow, that looks like it hurts. That's the worst one. That looks...
That's the fleas eating him up and him scratching like crazy.
And when we checked his teeth later on, we were pretty sure that he was not more than 6 weeks old.
Never had a meal before.
Yeah.
Obviously, this isn't an AKC puppy.
I saw a dog like this.
And I wasn't looking for a show puppy. I was looking for a dog that came from a good line of animals that would work the farm and protect my herd. Maybe they saw it as an easy opportunity to get rid of a problem dog. But whatever it is, I decided I was bringing him home with me. So this is what I've got. This is Hopper. This is our new livestock guardian dog. After a bath and a meal, Jafana bundled him up to sleep on the couch. It worked.
Come on, Hopper.
The next morning I realized that my idea of keeping him in the pen out in the new barn wasn't going to work. He'd rolled in the dirt and had gotten stuck in the ointment that we had put on his wounds. I was worried about infection, and I was also worried about flies and what they might bring to it. He got another bath, and I decided that he was going to have to live inside the house for a few weeks while the skin heals and the fur begins to grow back.
Get us back in dry.
Even though I'm certain he's never slept in a house before, he seemed to take to it quickly. He was even okay with movie night and family visits. The other dogs have all accepted him, and he's tagging along on the normal farm chores. Ro is the most high-energy dog we have, and I was a little concerned about how she was going to react to a new puppy. She plays very aggressively with Aya, but her instinct is very good, and she's shown herself to be both gentle and interested in him. At just 1 year old, Aya has shown an amazing amount of poise as a protector of our herd. It's a lot to shoulder, and hopefully, Hopper will be taking his place next to her to help carry some of that burden. But thinking back on the last year, we know that there's a lot of work to do to train him and help this puppy grow into a guardian.
Come on, Hopper. There you go. Hey, we don't chew pants. We don't bite legs.